Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind Over Matter for Thursday, January 21st. I did start a little bit early today, so if you showed up at 10:30 and I was almost done or already done, I do apologize. But I have a bunch of meetings that I need to ensure that I get to this morning and early afternoon, and I will unfortunately not be able to um, continue my 10:30 for today. We'll be back to 10:30 next week. It's just this week there was lots of stuff piling up. So anyway, big, hairy, audacious goals. I talk a lot about how people, how they need to get their mind right and how they need to believe in themselves and how they need to fill their minds with positive information. Darren Hardy said, I posted on Facebook today that, garbage in, garbage out. Don't turn your head into a trash can. We all face the same battles together, and that's the thing. I think the theme that I wanted to go after here today. I had a different plan for today, but as luck would have it, and I say luck would have it because I view things quite a bit differently than I think a lot of people. And then in addition, recently, as of of course January 1st, with my plans to take a much clearer control and much clearer direction as to where my success goes. One of the things that I think that people often miss is that they're not uniquely on an island alone when they're facing these challenges. I've been in the same position where it can feel so dauntingly real that you are alone, that you have nobody to count on, nobody to lean on, nobody to look up to, nobody to talk to, nobody to yell at, nobody to soundboard off of. But that's as if you take a time to take a look at it, that's a big fat hairy lie, because you do. But when we start to put the garbage in, turning our head into a trash can, the only possible response is going to be garbage out. It will continue to build on itself. It will continue to create an environment whereby you're very good at pointing out all of your flaws and things that you haven't done right, or you've made mistakes, because nobody else has ever made a mistake. Um, and it was just this morning that I faced the same battle, the very same battle. I took a leap of faith and became part of a group that will help develop my speaking skills, develop my writing skills, and develop my public interaction skills. Although I mean, I'm not an introvert or a wallflower by any stretch of the imagination. However, there are some areas in which I want to improve, and this was one of those ways that I felt I could do that. Um, when I arrived there today, there was someone there who I had in my mind thought would be a great fit. However, part of me was torn about whether I would want to bring this person and invite them. We have some mutual friends in the group, so it's not surprising to me that he was there. However, he has a very, very big personality, and in the best possible way. Nothing negative at all can be said. Just positive energy, uh, personal growth, development of people. All of these things are mantras that he lives by. But because of his personality being larger than life at times, I very quickly uh, shrunk, if you will. I very quickly fell into an old habit of being self-critical, being very self-critical, putting myself in a position where I felt inadequate, putting myself in a position where I felt like I couldn't measure up. And I found that in this specific uh, group today, I got very little out of what was being said today. I usually take notes, quite a bit of notes. Today, my notepad was nearly empty. So, what I want to say and how I want to frame this is quite simply: you're not ever going to stop. You're not ever going to be in a place where the battle ends. Until, of course, you die. But until that time, you do need to understand that you are working on a day-to-day basis with the big, hairy, audacious goals that you have in front of you. All good things will be challenged. All good people will be challenged. Whenever you are standing up for the right to do something that you believe in, you will be challenged. I faced that challenge today. Now, I didn't crumble into a complete, wasn't a complete waste. However, I did not rise today above the occasion. But having said that, I also acknowledged it was happening. And after some review, post, I was able to understand what happened, develop a stronger belief that I belonged, and realize that this is exactly where a lot of people are. That they have these big, hairy, audacious goals in mind, and they want to accomplish this and they want to accomplish that, and they feel that they deserve this and they deserve that, and then they get into that space. Someone says something, someone does something, someone enters a room. Somebody's already in the room when you enter it. And boom, everything goes off the rails. And so often, as through my own experience, sometimes when that train goes off the rails, we find ourselves unable to get it back on, and then unable to absorb any of the potential that is in the surroundings you're in. I lost an entire event today, for the most part. And one of these things that was part of it was just my ability to believe that I belong there. So what I'm really trying to hammer home here for you guys is quite simply this. All good things will be challenged. All good things will be put to the test. You have to know that when you are in that space, that noisy head of yours is here. Let me just frame it for you. Let me just back up for 2 seconds. Let me frame it for you. After the event was over, I found myself sitting in a chair. I was waiting for a couple of people. One of them was the gentleman who threw me into a tailspin unintentionally, and he has no idea he did. And I sat there in silent contemplation. And all I could do was beat myself up. All I could do was list everything that I wasn't. All I could do was continue to pile on garbage in, garbage out. I took 30 minutes of that, or 15 minutes of my morning, and turned my brain into a trash can. I left there before I got a chance to say goodbye because they were caught up having a conversation. And I left there with the intention of actually skipping this webinar altogether. I left there with the intention of eating sharing with you guys here, but because that's generally what I do when I get to this place. Is food is my safe haven. Um, but what I did was something different. I left there and I went and washed my car. Now, for some people, they are sitting wondering, what the heck are you talking about? Let me explain. When I wash my car, I find that my head, I get clear. I can think. I have an acute attention to detail, and I do believe that while I'm washing my car, I can't. My brain has the inability to allow anything else to come in because I'm focused on what I'm doing. I can think about what I want to do, where I want to go, all that type of thing, but it doesn't get overwhelming, or um, it stays away from the negative because I'm positive about what I'm doing. I have gratitude for the ability to wash my car at any time. I have gratitude for the ability to even own the car that I own. So it becomes very difficult to be negative. So what I learned in that moment, because I left the car wash with the intention of, oh, and the other thing I had no intention of doing when I left was communicate with the gentleman or the other person who I was planning on saying, have a good day to. I wasn't going to communicate with them for the rest of the day, not because in spite, but just because I was in that emotional space where if I talk to them, then I'm going to get better, and I don't want to. So I hold myself in that pattern. So by the time I finished washing my car, I was coming home to do this webinar. I made 2 phone calls on the drive and made 2 contacts, and which is why I started this webinar early. So what's the lesson? When you have big, hairy, audacious goals that you want to accomplish, you will be tested.